Everybody, welcome to a Friday Mic Talk. Thank you guys for being with me here at Song and Sword. Go to songandsword.com for all the information you need. Text prayer to that number on the screen. I'm praying with you and for you, standing by you, by faith in Jesus, that we can go before the throne of God and we can ask Him to bring healing to us, and He does that. So whatever your need, please text prayer and let me know, all right? Hope you guys are doing well. It is my day off, and so just kind of casual, but man, so much has happened here in this place. Again, this is the sanctuary of the new church building that we're going to move into. We've already kind of moved into, kind of taken over. City of Refuge has been so gracious to share it with us and work around us while they're moving out. So keep praying. I'll talk to you more about this tomorrow, but I want to invite you to come and check this out live Sunday from 2 to 4 p.m., but I'll get to that tomorrow. I hope you're sticking with this study, Hilarious Generosity. This study is now halfway through the 40 days. 20 days is today. And we've been talking about examples of giving and what that means to set an example. Are you an example? Do people look at you and say, man, they're generous. I can see an example of giving in their lives. That's what I want to share with you today from this maybe a kind of obscure lady whose name is Dorcas or Tabitha. All right, we'll pick up in Acts chapter 9, verse 36. Now there was in Joppa a disciple named Tabitha, which translated means Dorcas. She was full of good works and acts of charity. In those days she became ill and died, and when they had washed her, they laid her in an upper room. And since Lydda was near Joppa, the disciples, hearing that Peter was there, sent 2 men to him, urging him, please come to us without delay. So Peter rose and went with them. And when he arrived, they took him to the upper room, and all the widows stood beside him, weeping and showing tunics and other garments that Dorcas made while she was with them. But Peter put them all outside and knelt down and prayed. And turning to the body, he said, Tabitha, arise. And she opened her eyes, and when she saw Peter, she sat up, and he gave her his hand and raised her up. And then calling the saints and the widows, he presented to her to them alive. And he became known throughout all of Joppa, and many believed in the Lord. And he stayed in Joppa for many days with one Simon, a tanner. A great story. One of the other great things that happened, remember Joppa, modern day Joppa, by the way, which I've been to many times in the Holy Land. Joppa is the place where Jonah fled from God's calling. And but Joppa here is the place of healing, a place where this obscure young lady named Tabitha, Dorcas, it says down here the translated name Aramaic Tabitha mean gazelle, so doe or gazelle or something like that, but that's not the point. The point is she's a generous person. She's a giver. She's someone who gave, and she specifically gave. It sounds to me like she gave, we understand this, that she gave by sewing and by weaving and by doing, I don't even know how to say, I was going to say knitting, but we don't probably think she was knitting, but she was sewing garments. She made clothes. All the widows stood beside her weeping, showing the tunics and other garments that Dorcas made. Dorcas was generous with her resources to make clothes and with her time to make clothes. And at the end of her life, when she died, when she passed away, that's what they remembered her for. That's what, when Peter shows up and she's dead and he comes in the room and she's passed away, they're saying, Peter, please do something. This girl named Tabitha, this girl named Dorcas, she was generous. She gave to the widows and the people in need all the time. She took care of the saints in the church. She had a reputation for generosity, making them clothes and providing for their practical needs. And of course, the miracle is part of the story here. Peter comes in and he comforts the church and he does the miracle that you and I all pray for from time to time. And that's why we keep praying. That's why we say text prayer to the number on the screen, because we believe that God does miracles. But beyond that, I want to focus today on this Friday. I want you to think about this. At your funeral, and all of our funerals will happen unless the Lord comes back before we die, what is going to be your reputation of generosity? Or what's going to be your reputation anyway? I've done lots of funerals, and sometimes people talk about the teams that they rooted for more than anything else. Or they talk about their accomplishments. They talk about all that they had, the accumulation of their wealth and their goods. They talk about family, of course. But when it comes time for you and I to go, will our reputation be generosity? Because that's what they were talking about with Tabitha. She's a great example. She's a very, very obscure character. I've not heard anybody when you say, hey, who's the person you want to be? If you could be anybody in the Bible, who is your hero and who would you like to meet or be? I've heard very, very few people say, oh, that disciple named Tabitha that lived in Joppa. But we should, because she's a hero. She's a Bible hero. Her story is told because of the miracle, but I think her story is also told as an example of generosity. When we go, or even as we live today, do we have a reputation that is giving and generous? Are we serving other people? That's the example of Tabitha, and may it be true for us today too, as we serve and follow Jesus Christ. I love you guys. I hope that you guys are well. I hope you have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.